because it's during those times that sometimes. All right, Kate, I'm gonna mess your name up. Quaisha. Tell me if I did it right. She said blessed. She's feeling blessed. That's good. But like it's during these times where the things that we can kind of deal with day to day, and not that we should be dealing with it, but the disconnect, the fact that we don't really talk no more. I'm talking about you and your marriage. We don't really connect anymore. We ain't had sex in 9.5 months.
9.5 months.
I'm just making that up, but that's a very real thing that a lot of people deal with. That we don't have the kind of like intimacy, emotional intimacy, you know what I'm saying, that we used to have. That stuff can stand out a whole lot more during the holidays. So I just want to highlight that because it's a whole lot of, now it's after Thanksgiving. Now it's about to get all jolly and everybody's, this is my
It's gonna
favorite
get jolly
time
for
of
some
year.
people. For some people.
But there are places where there are a lot of disconnect. So as a part of our Black Friday weekend, y'all, we just want y'all to know right off the top that we have some offers going, some promotions going for one-on-one coaching with us. We have a bundle going, and we also have our marriage intensive. We're doing it online, virtually. We normally do it in person in a house with couples. And so congrats if anybody's watching who already signed up for the coaching bundle or for the intensive. But it's 50% off. Zip, dip, dip, doo. I'm just gonna put that right off the top of the beginning, and I'll back into it and let you know what is that and who is this for. But I first wanted to start by just sharing, like, we know real talk that people be in a funky ass place, a funky ass place. You know what I'm saying? And so two things can be true at once. Hey Taylor Tot. Taylor Tot 89. Thank you. All right, following us for years. I love it. But I know two things can be true at once. You can be like feeling the feels right during the holidays and then be like, dang, like why she do me like that? Or, why he don't be talking, or why does he do this or do that? Or, and so I really want us to be able to speak to those people who are looking. If only a few people say, oh my gosh, this is God's confirmation for me.
Yeah.
That if it's only two, if it's only one that hears us, then we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And so we just want to share this with you because what we are offering is at the lowest price it has ever been for the marriage intensive, and this bundle is an amazing discount. But first, we just got to set the tone, right, baby? And just talk about the fact that people be stuck. We want you to know if you're stuck. Some of you don't even know. It's so much the norm that you don't even recognize that you're stuck. You don't even know we're talking to you. You're like, oh, that's messed up for them people that's in that type of situation. No, baby, it's you. It's not normal. We don't want nobody to feel shame or anything, but it's not normal, nor is it good to be not communicating for days and weeks at a time. It's not good to not have any places where there's some emotional vulnerability. It's not good to not have trust. And the core ingredient of trust is vulnerability. So if you're one of those people like me, they're like, I don't like all that vulnerability stuff, I'm talking to you. Because just because you don't like it doesn't mean that it's not needed for you, for your marriage, for you to grow. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we just find ourselves stuck. You don't even know you're stuck. You've been hardcore for so long. You know what I'm saying? You've been shutting down on the regular for so long. You don't even know, you don't have to do that. You know that's not good. Right? You actually think it's something to pop your collar about. And we want to be able to offer you a different way tonight.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think about when it comes to the resistance and the apprehension when it comes to leaning in and doing your work is that a lot of times people make excuses, y'all. People make excuses. They make excuses about the reasons why it won't work, the reasons why they can't get the transformation and the change that they're looking for. And some of those excuses look like he or she won't do it. And so here's the issue that we stumble across over and over and over again. One person is often waiting for somebody else to make the shift or for somebody else to make the change, and they're not taking responsibility for what it is that they can do to improve the quality of the relationship. And so if you're guilty of that, I just want you to be able to own that and then acknowledge the fact that, like, maybe if I was to do something different, there may be a shift in the environment. We know that energy impacts the environment. Some of y'all work in offices where if somebody walks in a room, like, you notice a drastic shift in the energy in the office. Some of y'all live with family members who, if walks in a room, that there's a drastic shift in the energy, whether it be positive or negative. Sometimes you can have that cousin that comes over, and as soon as you hear his voice, when he hits the door, you start laughing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just something about, I see Sonny smiling right now. It's just something about certain people, certain energies, they impact the environment. What makes them any different than you? If they can impact the environment, you can impact the environment too. And so the question is, how are you impacting your environment? How are you impacting your marriage? How are you impacting your family? How are you impacting your children? And so a part of the reason why we do what we do is because we want to help you shift how you impact your family, because the way you move and the way you impact your children impacts your legacy. And so we can't take this thing for granted, y'all. But again, too many people are looking at the other person and not looking at their personal responsibility. And it don't mean that he or she ain't got stuff that they need to fix. Yeah, they got stuff. But bruh, so do you.
Right.
Sis, so do you. You got stuff too. And all I'm saying is that own it, acknowledge it, and don't be stuck and get all comfortable with it. Do something different so you can experience more.
That's good.
You really can, y'all.
Yes, indeed. So there are, if we're speaking to you, you'll feel that in your spirit, and you can, use that intuition as your confirmation that, I think they might be talking to me. But for those who need, a little more clarity, are you talking to me? Typically, the people that we work with and the folks who are attracted to the work that we do are usually in a certain space in their relationships, in their marriage. Oftentimes you may be feeling unseen, unheard, misunderstood, continually. I mean, this happens to all of us, right? But this is like become a pattern where we just can't seem to get to the other side of the issues. We're like stuck in a cycle of like having highs. We good. I hear this all the time, y'all. We good when we good. But when we ain't good, we really ain't good. You know what I mean? And if you talk to anybody who's seasoned in their marriage, they will probably say, yeah, we've been there. But at some point, you have to start shifting into a different level of maturity. I'm going to say how I heard my mentor back in the day say, maturity. You have to be a little mature. You got to mature. If you're doing that, 15, 20 years in, then you have not been maturing. And so you want to be able to get out so that, yes, you're going to still experience lows, but they don't last as long. They're not as chronic. They're not as funky. You all know a pathway to get back in alignment with one another. So if you are a person who's felt like you've been stuck in a cycle for quite a while of emotional disconnect, poor communication, a lack of intimacy, perhaps infidelity, sometimes it's multiple situations of infidelity, and you've been trying to figure it out all on your own over and over and over again with very little success, we're talking to you. We're talking to you because early on in our marriage, we stayed with somebody in somebody's class, workshop, in the counseling session, and, half the time I used to be looking at me like, what? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, what? I think we could talk about it just fine. And eventually I had to say, dude, Negro, you a therapist. You know what I'm saying? How you talking about something? But, I just want to share that because that's how it be. I mean, there are times when I know, like, I need more. I need to do something. But it take me a minute because I don't want to go there. So I just want to normalize that. I want to normalize that can happen and you can feel that way. But if you have been feeling stuck, you're not alone. Everybody goes into those places at times. And tonight, we just want to get honest with you about what it takes to break free. We want you to understand that at this point in time, at least in terms of the work that we do, you ain't going to never get it gooder because this is an amazing opportunity in terms of what we are offering up during this Black Friday weekend, going right on into tomorrow's Cyber Monday. So we just want to share a few reasons. My husband already talked about it. Why couples stay stuck in dysfunction. Why they stay stuck. I mean, because many of you all can probably talk to me and Aize and break some things down for us about your own self, your own relationship and the dynamics, but you still be like stuck. Like, it, but you still be in that joint, still kind of stuck dealing with the same thing. So the first thing that I want to share with you is what I said earlier on. It's a fear of vulnerability. A fear of vulnerability. It's easier to avoid being vulnerable than to face the hard truths of who you are, who you've been, where you are in your marriage. Your partner will reflect some things to you, whether they say it directly to you or whether or not it stings because of the lack of whatever, right? Like there's going to be some things that you're going to have to face about yourself. If your marriage is suffering, it can't just be that is just somebody else. And so in order to do that, you have to be vulnerable. You got to be able to stand there and feel weak in the knees and feel even maybe some shame, which we don't encourage at all because it's not helpful to be sitting and wallowing in shame. Accountability is good, but shame is not, it's not something you should hold on to, but we're human. So we feel that. You got to be willing to feel all of that and acknowledge what your partner's perspective is, how you've impacted them, all of that stuff. And that requires you to be vulnerable and not to go to a place of being defensive, to be able to recognize your impact on your partner, on your marriage, on your children, whatever, and not be defensive. And that is grown folk stuff. It takes some real courage to do that. And so many couples, many people stay stuck because there's a fear of vulnerability and just being able to own, yeah, that's been me. That's been me. And I just have to be able to look at that.
So if we concretize that, like, what does that look like within the context of a relationship? Fear of vulnerability. Have there been moments and times where, let's say as a man, you wanted to experience some intimacy, and after rejection, after rejection, after rejection, you stop asking the question, you stop pursuing, but yet you're still feeling empty and you still want more. What do you do with that? Do you just get still? Do you get quiet? Do you just swallow it? Do you just keep it to yourself? Do you bury your desire, bury your inclination to pursue your spouse? What do you do? Like, or do you get vulnerable and do you express what it is that you want and what you need? Do you open up and express that you've been hurt, if y'all have been not communicating, or that you feel lonely because you all have not been spending quality time? Do you do that? Do you get vulnerable?
Yeah.
Like it takes, and again, you may have expressed this initially, you may have expressed this one or two times, but if it's a repeated occurrence, do you go to the depths of indicating what the impact is on you so that your partner understands? Do you? And again, when we're speaking about radical vulnerability, that's what we're talking about. You taking that risk, you extending yourself and doing what is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that you can get closer, y'all. It's not for no reason. The other piece too, y'all, is that a lot of times we notice that people underestimate the problem.
A lot of times.
You really underestimate the problem. I see this with dudes over and over and over again, where they'll come to us in the 11th hour, y'all, in the midnight hour and in the 11th hour. They'll come to us looking for support, looking for a miracle. And I know what we do is banging, y'all. I know we got a gift, and I know we got the capacity and the ability to be able to help people, but it's through God that we are able to do what we do.
Amen.
Now, what I will also say is this, that if you come into us in the 11th hour and at the midnight, first of all, we ain't open at the midnight hour, but,
know, you talking about
but in the
midnight
11th hour,
You ain't in the hospital
if you
all day,
come
Joe.
into us at that point in your relationship, we perform through the grace of God some miracles.
So we help them to perform their own miracle.
Exactly. My wife, she's gonna correct me. Yeah. So we not doing it. You doing your work.
That's right. That's right.
But what I'm saying is that a lot of times, bro, it's too late. It's too late. And so what we're saying is that you've underestimated the problem month after month, year after year, sometimes even decade after decade. And now you're trying to scramble to fix things, to like try to make things work. And bruh, she been telling you a long time ago, you just ain't been listening. And so our challenge and our charge to you is that if you notice that there's some things that have gone awry, get ahead of it, fam. Sis, get ahead of it. Reach out to get support. Get the assistance, the support, the sustenance that you need to keep your marriage, to keep your relationship going.
Yeah.
Because trust and believe, like I've said this before, when she's done, she's done. A lot of times when he's done too. And so again, stop waiting and stop underestimating the impact of the significance of what's going on in your marriage.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think you can sweep the stuff up under the rug, but y'all know if you lift up your rug, you still got some dirt up under there. It ain't going nowhere. It's still there. You're just trampling on top of it and putting new dirt on top. But it's still dirt up under the rug. It's still dust up under the rug. And so what we're saying is that if you underestimate that pile of dust, that debris can grow so big you end up tripping.
Yeah. Yeah.
You end up falling, you end up hurting yourself because you underestimated your stuff.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. And my husband said this earlier. I just want to add this. I think you spoke to this earlier. Waiting for your partner to change first. I just want to echo that again. If you keep waiting for your husband or your wife or your partner, right, to show that they interested. You know, y'all love to come on our IG post talking about, well, it takes two. You know, especially when we putting stuff out about serving or doing what you're supposed to do for your, like, well, it takes two. Y'all love to say that. And the reality is that, I always say this, excuse me, ultimately, you're going to get to a place where you'll recognize that your partner is either rising to meet you and they're able to get to where you are, but somebody has, or they're not, right? One or the other, but somebody has to raise the vibration. Somebody has to bring the vulnerability, the healing energy, the humility. Got a whole lot of folks with big egos and just let that thing take over because you know, we've heard quite a few people in our community talk about, you know, because I really feel like I'm right on the situation. I really do feel like I'm right. So because of that, I feel justified in continuing to have this conversation or keep going down this road over and over and over again because, you know, I feel justified. It doesn't matter if you think you're right. And even if you are right, even if you was to tell us and we said, oh yeah, we think you are right. The question is, our Blamely should know, do you want to be right or do you want to be in relationship? And if you really want to be in relationship, if you really want to be connected, if you really want to get to the other side and not just be right, then you've got to do something different. And oftentimes people are waiting on their partner to get a clue. And whoever has the most insight is obligated to use it. Damn, why it's always me? Why not? Why not? Get over it. Lead and keep leading, keep doing the work, keep pushing forward. Unless and until you decide I'm throwing the towel in, this ain't it. Because let me be clear, there are plenty of folks who are together, long-term relationships, married, who should not be together, and there are plenty of folks who are sitting in the same space, waiting for God or somebody to come perform a miracle, when God is waiting on you to do what God has asked you to do what you need to do to take care of yourself, to set boundaries and all that. But they're also, and I would say most people are in relationships with the person that they're supposed to be with, who you have attracted. They are your divine complement. You all are having issues. You've been having issues for some time, whatever the case may be. And you are sitting thinking that it'll just get better. You got to be active. You got to get active. You got to demonstrate something different. You got to disrupt the pattern. You got to figure out what the pattern is. Well, when we get into these disconnects and these arguments or these shutdowns, like what tends to happen first and then second and then third? If there are triggers going on, if we're dealing with overcoming infidelity or lack of trust or disrespect or whatever it is, what's happening that we keep going down this road? You have to do that. You can't wait for your partner to like, they need to do that. You know, you got to be like a student. You should have notes written down somewhere. You should be able to feel a feeling in the middle of the day when you at work, like, I know that Negro did not. Oh, wait a minute. What am I feeling? What's going on? What just happened? Make a note so you can start to connect the dots. So you can observe not only your feelings, but your behavior, your response and your lack of response. You got to study yourself. You got to become a student of yourself, a student of your partner, and a student of how y'all flow together and how y'all clash. If you're not willing to do that, then you likely are a victim of another reason why people stay stuck. You just avoid, over and over again, you avoid commitment. There are so many married folks who are not committed. I hope you catch that. So many married people and you ain't even committed. Not committed to the process of becoming, not committed to the process of becoming one, of continuing to grow within yourself and becoming one. You want major results and you don't want to do the work. You think you have arrived because you are married. You think you've arrived because we got 15 years, we got 20 years. I have met many of folk who have been doing the work. They've been together 9 years and got way more maturity, emotional maturity, than somebody that's been together for 20 years. Because it ain't about the length of time. It's about the level of insight and the level of humility and vulnerability and trusting the process, trusting God, trusting yourself that you're willing to put in. So these are the things that get in the way of folks, right? Fear of vulnerability, waiting for your partner to change first, underestimating the problem, not being willing to commit to the process. And then oftentimes we don't want a professional, especially dudes, who, what he gonna tell me? Some guys are like, oh, it's a brother. Let me check him out first, right? Okay, he cool. So they'll be all right with it, right? But we don't want no professional guidance, but that's because some of us are avoiding real change. We want surface change. We want it to just be all right for a minute, and then we want to slack up. But we don't really want real work. So we avoid committing to the process. We avoid professional guidance and committing to the process. Change is incremental. It happens with consistency. It happens with show up. And if you're not willing to do that, you just got to ask yourself, well, what am I doing? And what is the point? What is the point of smoothing it over? I just got to say this real quick. I'm going way deeper than I plan to. But a lot of this has to do with our own ability to emotionally regulate our feelings, dealing with anxiety, with confrontation, dealing with overwhelming partners who are talking like this and we're trying to manage them. It's a lot of personal stuff. They trigger us in terms of our childhood, in terms of how our parents were. And so we are in a cycle. We're in a cycle, and your partner's not bad. They're just being who they are. And so we can stay stuck in that and just repeat the cycle of our childhood, or we can break free from that and recognize, oh my goodness, we both have attracted each other for a particular reason, and we can actually help each other to grow and go to the next level in terms of who we are as people and in terms of how we interact as a couple. And then set the parameters for everybody else who comes into contact with us. That's legacy building stuff. You understand? But if you are not willing, you're not willing to do the work, then you can just, be cute. Because it's a whole lot of cute people. It's a whole lot of, I'm going to tell y'all something. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going, there's one more thing.
Handle your business.
One more thing real quick. We were at church today, and there was a guest preacher. And, this is not the first time I've heard this, but the way he hit it, he said, it's a whole lot of preachers, it's a whole lot of ministers, it's a whole lot of holy rollers who going straight to hell. And it's a whole lot of prostitutes and a whole lot of former drug dealers going straight to heaven, right? There was a whole lot more to it than that. But what he was talking about is really being committed to the work, the transformative work of transforming your spirit and who you are versus putting on and, okay, we did that. Now I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I showed up and now I'm done. It doesn't have anything to do with the external. It has to do with your internal willingness to get vulnerable. And so many of us, we don't even know that there's another level. All we ever been exposed to is the surface stuff, the external stuff. That's all we've ever been exposed to. But you have the power to transform yourself. As long as you're in alignment with the Most High, that is our personal opinion and professional opinion for that matter. And you have the ability to be able to go to another level in your marriage. The question is, do you want to do it? Do you want to do it? And many people don't want to do it. So we want to give you some options tonight to be able to go further and to get out of these staying stuck patterns, because it is a choice. It is not like, oh, the devil just keep me down. Oh, I just can't. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's a mindset shift.
I mean, so I respect the question that my wife lifted up. Do you want to do it? But I would even ask you, do you need to do it? Because a lot of times you need to do what you don't want to do.
Oh, yeah.
And so you may not want to. This is for the people that's riding the fence and hesitant about any transformation. It's not the right time of the year. You got the Super Bowl coming up in February, or you got the playoffs, and you got different stuff. Right, you got Christmas. You got you got different things that are the priority for you. And you're pushing your marriage, you're pushing your relationship to the back. You're pushing your family, your children to the back. And so my question for you again is, not do you want to do it, but do you need to do it? Mm-hmm. Do you need to prioritize you? Do you need to prioritize your marriage? Do you need to prioritize your family? Mm-hmm. If the answer is yes, then this right here is for you. And so again, we're going to wrestle with you around your want, but we're going to offer you something that you need. And then ultimately you got to make the decision. Mm-hmm. You got to decide.
Booyah. Okay, that's good. All right, y'all. So we're gonna shift a little bit. I hope you got something good from what we shared. I hope that you were able to see yourself in some way. We did this. We said we were gonna do this live and let folks come into the room. because a lot of times people stay stuck and they really don't recognize where they are in their marriage trajectory. They don't even know where they are, where to begin. They just know like stuff is just be messed up, but I don't even know. You know, folks are often in that place. And so just during this Black Friday weekend and Cyber Monday, we have two amazing deals going on. And there is a difference between our coaching bundle and our marriage intensive, and we want to be able to explain that to you. One-on-one coaching, we are, just for full transparency, we are trained therapists and relationship coaches. The work that we do with couples and individuals working on their relationship is not therapy, even though we are therapists. We are coaches, and coaching is different from therapy in that it is reflective and we do look back a little bit, right? But we're not going to sit there and do all of this exploration around all the things in our childhood, because we need to take action and have some change in our relationship sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, many of y'all, you know your situation. Well, my daddy, wasn't there. This is my situation. He was on again, off again. And then my mother, and then my husband never knew his, we already know that stuff. You know some of what has occurred that has gotten you to a place where maybe you're more guarded, maybe you don't trust, whatever the case may be. Can we go back to the other thing, please? But you don't know what to do to be able to disrupt that, and what needs to happen for you individually and collectively, because it's not just about y'all. A lot of people do couples work and they're just talking about y'all as a couple. This is what y'all need to do, what y'all need to do. Y'all need to pray together. Y'all need to do this together. Some of it is just, bruh, this is what you need to do. You have a personal issue around this particular thing. No shade, but this is what you need to focus on. You are personalizing, sis, what is happening in terms of your marriage, and that's not for him to figure out for you. You got to figure that out. When we can have, honesty about that and know it's a safe place to do that, then the change starts to become reciprocal. You start to focus on working on yourself, which then impacts your relationship, and your partner is doing the same thing, and there's an effect that happens between the both of you continuing to do your personal work so that your marriage and your relationship benefits. So coaching is about taking those action items. And this is ideal for couples who need ongoing support. You need accountability, you need practical tools for improving your communication, your connection, and so forth. And it works well for those with issues that are manageable with regards to your willingness to commit to steady, consistent growth. We don't communicate well. We tend to shut down. This is like hiring a personal trainer, for example, to work out weekly and stay in shape. It's very similar to that. We're going to come together with you on a regular basis and work with you around these particular areas that we identified that you have individually and collectively. A marriage intensive does much of the same thing, but this is a weekend event. The one that we have coming up is January 10th through the 12th, and that is a 4-hour plus event. It is called an intensive for a reason, because some of you, this goes back to underestimating the problem or the issue, or trying to do coaching for something you haven't addressed for 25 years. You're trying to do one-on-one coaching or counseling and come once a week for 1 hour to address something that has so many layers. And you should know this in your spirit. It's so much. It ain't just like, oh, we just need to learn how to communicate better. It's a lot of stuff. And so a marriage intensive is for folks who are dealing with acute or chronic challenges, long-standing issues of disconnect, of lack of intimacy, of overcoming infidelity, repeated conflict that has been going on and on and on for years oftentimes. And my husband usually makes the analogy about hospitalization, right? How you be saying that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that sometimes people,
some people don't even like that. They're like, no, I don't want to say that that's me. But
yeah,
it is
but
what it
depending
is.
upon the nature of your issues, and we're speaking about a marriage intensive right now, you have an acute problem. You got something that's long standing. You have something that's been happening year after year after year. There are deep-seated issues and wounds that need to be addressed. And as a result, unfortunately, some people think that, I can take care of it on my own. Sometimes people even think that, a Band-Aid will be sufficient for me to be able to address and deal with this particular issue. But no, it's not the case, y'all. Sometimes people need to be arrested and removed from their environment, almost as if like there's a hospitalization that's taking place. And so what happens in that situation is that, again, there's this time that you're removed from your regular day-to-day rigmarole. And as a result, like, what you're doing is you're focusing in on your marriage. You're focusing in on your relationship. And when you focus in, you have conversations that should have been had a long time ago. You have vulnerability that you're able to access and get to that you haven't been able to get to in a long time.
Yeah, that's good.
You have just moments and opportunities where there's meetings of the mind for you to be able to experience each other in a deeper way that has not happened for years. And again, what the intensive gives you is a breakaway from the norm. It gives you that opportunity to slow down, get still, and to focus. To focus on your marriage. To focus on making things better. To focus on healing. To focus on having hard conversations within a curated environment or space.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And so a lot of folks, whether it's coaching or an intensive, are avoiding because they just never done anything like this. They've never done anything like this at all. And again, imagine somebody with a broken leg trying to walk it off instead of going to the hospital. We're just gonna walk it off. Some of y'all do that. I'm just gonna walk it off. But you need a coach, you need a counselor, right? You can't do that. It might feel easier at first because it relieves the pressure for a minute, but over time, that untreated injury is going to cause more pain. And catch this, lasting damage. And so we got to stop skipping over doing what we need to do so that we can actually move ourselves out of that situation. Real change, y'all, it requires honesty, a willingness to look at yourself, transparency, commitment, and a willingness to get uncomfortable. That's just the bottom line. The longer you avoid addressing the root cause of the situation, and many of y'all, you kind of sort of know, but you don't really know. I love to get into a group where there's other people who can they ain't in my situation, they're not in it with me, so they can see some things that I cannot see. And so you need to be able to get to the root cause, but the longer you avoid addressing the root cause of disconnection and poor communication, not being satisfied, all of those things in your relationship, the more that silent killer of marriages has an opportunity to build up. The more the distance builds up. And that silent killer is resentment. Somebody type resentment in the chat. Resentment and distance. You do not want that thing building up in your relationship. And for many of you, it's already there. You're like, oh, it's already there. Well, then for you, you might not need to be coming to get no coaching. You need to do the intensive. You understand? So that is the difference. So y'all, now is the time to act. And so we want to invite you as this goes away on tomorrow. We've extended to Cyber Monday, and you need to take action if any of this stood out to you. For all of those who are watching on social media, you can look in our bio and you can see where you can. Well, I see these little things popping up on here. Okay, let me stop. I don't know what that means. What is that on TikTok? It's a numbers going. I'm old because I don't know nothing.
Oh, she's saying hearts. That's what.
Oh, you sent the hearts.
Yeah,
Thank
she's
you,
sis. 11 hearts. Yeah.
Thank you.
Make a DM us.
You can direct message us. Just direct message us and say, "Hey, I'm interested in learning more on social media," and then we will shoot you the link so that you can get more information about moving forward with coaching or the intensive. Our marriage intensives. This is a virtual marriage intensive, again, happening January 10th through the 12th. January 10th through the 12th of next year. That's just next month, y'all. So it's a great way to start the new year to really focus on your relationship. And it is 50% off. 50% off just through Black Friday weekend and Cyber Monday. We're putting the link here in the chat on Zoom. And then again, direct message us on TikTok and Instagram if you want more information. And then our coaching bundle. Talk about our coaching bundle, my dear.
Yeah, the coaching bundle is dope, y'all, because the coaching bundle in and of itself, like a session, an individual session is $250. However, what you can do during the course of this Black Friday, Black Friday bundle, Cyber Monday, 50% off discount situation, you can get access to us and be able to get 6 sessions for 81% off, y'all. Not
Y'all
not
heard
81%.
that?
It's
What
actually
is it?
it's 67% off.
But
You
what
get
is it?
6 sessions. 6 sessions with us, 50-minute sessions. And it's an opportunity for you to, whether you're an individual or a couple, to be able to focus on, the areas need to be focused on in your marriage. And so, again, a lot of times people are having issues having hard conversations. They're having challenges when it comes to intimacy. They're having, issues as it pertains to, infidelity. And what this does is it gives you an opportunity to be able to dive in for a 6 session experience with us and be able to connect in so that you can improve the quality of the way you relate in your relationship. So it can be applied to your marriage, but relationships, you have different dynamics that are present in different types of relationships. And so what I would say to you is, again, if you're having challenges with your spouse, your parents, your children, you can use these sessions for that.
Yes. And not just for couples, because people a lot of times think it's just for couples, but
Yeah, we got folks we work with individually.
yeah, and
they
people
experience some serious transformation and change because they have the ability to be able to come through, express their thoughts and feelings, emote, get real-time feedback, but also get action plans too. That right there is a critical piece because it's not just about talking. It's about really, getting some information, some inspiration, and some instruction on what next steps can look like.
That's good. So for on Zoom, we're putting the coaching. You finish it. I can't do it. The coaching bundle link in the Zoom, and again, direct message us on TikTok and on Instagram. Now, when you go on TikTok and Instagram, when you go to our bio, you'll see something that says you can schedule a consult. But if you take the time to schedule a consult, this will be gone. This particular, like you will still, it'll still be here, but it will not be for the same price. So direct message us. Don't just go and schedule a consultation so that you can take advantage of this Black Friday weekend offer as well, or the marriage intensive, and we can share with you. Sorry, I'm laughing at my son who just came in. But we can direct message you and share the links. And then also, if you want to, you know how you can on the I don't know if you can do that on TikTok because I don't know, but I know on Instagram you can talk. Tell us about your situation, and we'll tell you which way we think you should go if you feel like that would be helpful to you. The bottom line is, y'all, is that your marriage deserves an investment, an emotional investment, right? A physical investment for those of y'all don't touch each other. And a financial investment, a spiritual investment, right? So take the step and we will be there with you every step of the way. I hope that you take action. If you're really about it, then you will take action, and there really is no excuse at these major discounts that we do every Black Friday. So everybody, if you saw yourself tonight, don't feel bad, just feel encouraged. Feel encouraged about what it is that you are able to create in your relationship. Feel encouraged about that. I didn't see any questions. Did anybody have any questions? Because I want to make sure that we answer them right here or right now. If you got a question about anything we talked about the coaching bundle, about the intensive, anything, let me know. All right. Again, the intensive is 50% off. And there's a lot of things on here. And the coaching bundle is majorly discounted. Okay, I can't even. Okay. So Beautiful Shades of Grey said, I'm experiencing this right now in my relationship, and I truly don't know what to do. So consider this a sign. Consider this a sign. And when we don't know what to do, right, then we oftentimes are given signs. Okay, Melanie 88, inbox us your question and we'll be waiting for that. That's fine.
Oh, one other piece that I want to
we
look
don't
up.
take the signs. We get something and then, I'm sorry, let me say something real quick. When I was doing a group with women, some of my sisters on here were in that group. You were here. And the first is a first group that we did. Anyway, that's irrelevant. One of the insights that somebody had, and I just love this insight. I talk about it a lot. Because she was a person who, she is a person, but she's different now. She's changed now, right? But she saw herself as somebody who was very willing to do the work, to invest in her marriage, to show up the way that she needed to be accommodating. And she was that kind of person. People who are just, sweet and accommodating. And we didn't have to really tell her, like, you need to focus on doing your personal work. She's like, I'm here to do my personal work. She was leading with that. I am doing everything that I need to do. And I know that, you know, he's got to do his work and I'm not going to be on him. I'm going to do what I need to do. So this is like a great mindset. Oftentimes we have to work with people to even get to that place, and that's okay. And what she recognized after some time, y'all, she said, I learned that I actually have been very unwilling. I have not been a willing person and accommodating and leading and soft and just ready. I've been unwilling because in her situation, which I will say I don't think is most people's situation, but in her situation, she said, God was telling me that I needed to move on, that what I was dealing with and what I was navigating was not what God had for me, and that I needed to put myself in position to be able to attract and have the best of what God had for me. But because I was putting up with a situation, a marriage, a dynamic that was incessantly, just ridiculously not healable. I don't even know what words to say because she is doing all the things. You know, you keep doing and keep doing and keep doing. And sometimes I be thinking in my mind when I'm coaching folks, so at any point do you ever think, well, I've been doing. Maybe this ain't it. maybe this isn't the one God has for me. And so she realized as though she saw herself as willing, but I really have been unwilling and I have been resistant and I have not been wanting to do the hardest work, which is to let it go. Da, 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 da. Oh my goodness. And again, I don't think most people in that situation, I think most people tap out too early and they be ready to roll out and you know, we all of that stuff, but that wasn't her situation. And so yes, Tanisha, she was able to see it from a different perspective. So this willingness piece to trust the process and do the work. When you say, I don't know what to do, get in proximity to other people, be it us, folks in our community, coaches in our community, right? Get in proximity to somebody who can share with you something different and get close to God so that God can speak to you, because God should be leading you, period, above and beyond anything that we or anybody else says. Okay. So I just wanted to say that piece, and I hope that this has spoken to you. Direct message us on TikTok or Instagram. You can also email us you can email our support team at admin, ADMIN, at theletterbeintentional.com. I'll put that in the chat.
You're going to be able to do that while you're talking?
I'm done talking now, shoot. Now we're ready to close out.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to everybody that's watching, if you make the decision that you want to do the intensive and you choose to select the option where you make one payment, there are financing options available. So I just wanted to make you aware of that as well, too. And if you decide to...
Explain in more detail.
So basically, I mean, you can actually do the intensive. I believe it's for like maybe $51 a month. And so the financing option is via Klarna. And again, you know, you'll get access to be able to take advantage of the intensive through taking that link. So again, if you are on IG or TikTok, you can DM us. Yeah. We'll shoot you the information over here on Zoom or on YouTube. Actually, Zoom, you can also, utilize that as well too. So we drop the links on Zoom. Click on the link. You'll see the option to do it via Klarna. You can also get that option for the coaching bundle as well too. So, you know, we're here to support you. We're here to support you. We want to make it as accessible as possible, which is why we got the 50% discount going. But it's going to be ending tomorrow, y'all. We decided to extend it into Cyber Monday. It's going to be ending tomorrow. A lot of times people have the tendency to try to rush into the last minute and get in before the door is closed, which is great. But then you want to start knocking when the door is closed, and the door going to be closed. So, or the price will be going up. So I'm just letting y'all know that right now. So make sure you get in. Get in now if you can. And, get in before midnight tomorrow night.
Everybody be blessed. We appreciate spending some time with you this evening. It's December. We're already in December, y'all. The last month of the year. This is the time for going within, for getting still and quiet and starting to think about, even if you don't do New Year's resolutions, you're like, oh, that's too gimmicky, I don't do that. I still think it's a great time to be able to start thinking about the coming year and looking back at the last year, all the change that has happened, all of the stuckness that has happened, no judgment, just be honest about it. And then start to pay attention to what you want to create for the coming year, not just what you want to have, not just how much money you want to make or how much weight you're gonna lose, and how your relationship. But who do you want to be? How do you want to feel? What kind of person do you want to be? How do you want to feel from day to day? And those should be the types of goals that you're working on. And we would love to support you with it. So everybody, be peaceful. We'll talk to you on the next situation. And have a blessed evening.
Yeah, Black Star Power, hit us up.
Bye. Oh,
All right, y'all.
yes.
Peace.
You can email or inbox, but you can inbox us right now.